Did you guys ever see the movie Goodfellas? Now, bear with me for a second before we get to the topic at hand. In the movie, there is a nice little sequence towards, I would say it's in the latter third of the film, right before the end. It's fast forward to 1980, and Henry Hill has had a weird night, like a night full of like drugs and stuff. He's been partying the entire night. He's on Quaaludes, and he sees this helicopter in the air, and he thinks this helicopter is following him. Well, he was told by one of the eventual drug dealers that the helicopter was fake, and of course that he should just do some more Quaaludes. Well, gang, we're not on Quaaludes, and we know exactly what the hell is going on here. What's up, guys? John Claymore here. Now, before we get started on this video, let me go ahead and kind of tell you how this video is going to go. First and foremost, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about this chick. We're going to go ahead and try to get it out of the way because obviously some developments have occurred. I did not want to touch this, and then out of the middle of nowhere, it just hit me that this individual who has been putting these tweets up, who's now playing the victim, kind of reminds me of somebody that I've covered before. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about what you saw in the thumbnail, which, by the way, is Tim Pool's apology. We'll be reacting to it because we got to ask the question if it's too little or too late. Also, I thought about putting the thumbnail, having a different thumbnail. I'll be explaining that one here in a second, too, because it's obviously got to do with the first point that I made. We're going to be talking about why it is that this story did, in fact, matter and why is it still matters, especially as far as the what we're finding out about people's content being completely removed. And of course, we're going to wrap things up with a nice little bow on top. And hopefully we ain't got to cover this thing again because I told you the other day that I did not want to talk about this issue anymore. But obviously things do change. So let's go ahead and get into it. So PhD is what I'm going to call her. You know, it's kind of like Kwame Brown when he would talk about Becky with the good hair. I got to find out. So I got to find something else. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's just go ahead and call her Blue with the good hair, or Blue with the short hair. So Blue with the short hair put these tweets up. Obviously, the grift has been exposed, and now she's on another grift. And it does remind me of somebody that I've actually talked about in the past. Somebody who, if you actually go to my YouTube page, you'll actually see the videos, and you'll say, man, he talked about this girl right here a lot. She does kind of remind me of her. And, of course, that girl I'm talking about is Carla Borisenko. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, how the hell did you come up with that conclusion? Well, let me explain. Carla Borisenko was this white liberal from up north. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know who she is. She decided she wanted to grift on the right, try saying that she was now officially a Trump supporter. Of course, like not even a month or two after the election was over. She was trying to get people on the right to open up to some, and you're probably saying, how is this got to do with politics? Bear with me for a second. She was talking about stuff like, I don't know, like she's trying to get us to like moderate ourselves, trying to like liberalize the actual party. Some people obviously did not take this very well. And then next thing you know, the whole CRT mess kind of picked up. And of course, she made a lot of videos saying that CRT was not anti-white. Many people disagreed with that. I disagree with that as well. We're not going to get into that. However, when I made my videos about it, I basically came to the assessment that the reason why she's got this thinking is because she lives in a state that's only got like 1% black population. She's not exactly dealing with people of another color or another race. So therefore, some of the arguments that she was presenting were not based on any type of real world experience. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, what has this got to do with Liza with the blue hair or Blue with the good hair or PhD? Well, this is what it's got to do with it. You see, what she is doing right now is a good old-fashioned grift, okay? She's trying to get famous, okay? This is what the hell she's doing, very, very simply put. Now, guys, I could go through every single incident that's actually came out, and, of course, if I was to do that, my channel, of course, would get knocked like what you're seeing here from these tweets. Chrissy Mayer got it. The guy whose video I shared the guy whose video I put in the description box the other day, Dr. Draven, his videos got friggin' knocked. A lot more intel has actually came out since then. As a matter of fact, I'll be leaving one of his other videos in here because there's something else too, another little wrinkle that nobody has really spoken about that I'm going to be bringing up, which probably explains why Ian Crossland did a separate video on Brittany Venti kind of apologizing. But we'll get to that here in a second, or we'll get that towards the end of the video. So the thing is this right here. It's a great big giant grift. Now, people have compared it to Jack Murphy. Of course, Jack Murphy was platformed by Tim Pool on 17 separate occasions. Yeah, this girl right here only twice. But still, though, at the same time, you're sending a reporter out there to cover this, and they're going to break it up into 6 single parts. Now, the thing that makes me think she reminds me a lot of Carlin is the fact that not only has she been grifting, But now that the grift has been exposed, she's now playing the bully. She's now playing the victim. Not only has she been playing the victim, she's also been playing the bully by getting these people's accounts pretty much yoked, doxxed, or put on some form of notice. I don't know if Chrissy Mayer's videos got demonetized. I think that Noxtress, I don't know, maybe he has, I don't know, but there was another individual who had videos out there. Obviously, it was Jeremy the Courting, and of course, Tim Pool did apologize to that too, but it's even though he may have forgiven him, I'm not so sure that the base has forgiven him, and of course, I'll be explaining that in the next section of this video. But the thing you have to understand is this has been one great big giant grift. Now, why in the hell is this story important? Well, your First Amendment rights are obviously under attack. You see, many people have had their lives almost upended because of this. Now, it's not just those content creators I mentioned. I mean, obviously, Brittany Venti, she has been through the ringer over this, and so has Anna, that Star Wars girl. Many people have been through the ringer over this. You've got that Umbrella guy, Yellow Flash's entire account was basically gotten rid of. And a lot of these people also use Twitter to kind of promote their business. Me personally, I do not. And don't worry, at the end of the video, I'll explain how it is that I do things, because obviously people are going to be wanting to know why it is that I don't want to take super chats, or why it is I haven't set up a Patreon or a subscribe store, because quite frankly, I just don't need it. And I'll explain that at the end of the video. But the thing is this right here. People's livelihoods have been upended because they found some information out that, quite frankly, she did not want exposed. Yet the information that she did not want exposed was publicly available. It was a music video that was on YouTube from a hip-hop website that, by the way, you can see on Rumble, to my knowledge. It's actually still available on Rumble. It was just a very, very simple thing. I mean, look, if you just kind of like own up to it, say, yeah, I kind of did this right here in my life at some point in time, then, we probably could forgive this. But what you're doing is you're grifting and you're making money off the backs of those who are actual, how do I say this, actual sex trafficking victims and actual sex trafficking survivors. It's a pretty scummy thing. And then to go on top of that, it wouldn't be so bad. I mean, it would still obviously be very, very bad, but it wouldn't be as worse if you had not done what the hell you were doing, which was to yoke these accounts and basically tear up these people's livelihoods. I mean, they basically exposed you, and your response was to have these people suspended from YouTube, get their videos demonetized, and suspend their Twitter accounts. Pretty shady, pretty scumbaggy. I mean, just pretty scumbaggerish. I'm trying to work some lingo in there, but still, pretty bad, pretty cheap. I mean, it's very, very sick that this type of individual has basically the keys to the castle, and she can basically call up Elon Musk at any point in time and say, I want this person removed. Or maybe she could call Susan Wojcicki and say, I want this person's YouTube channel gotten rid of. I'm going to file a privacy complaint. That's basically what the hell is going on here. And obviously, she has attached herself to the right. Now, I want to go ahead and make this point right here before I go any further. Apparently, she is supposed to go on with Candace Owens. Now, if you guys have been subscribed to me for a while, then you know that I did a video on Candace Owens over the whole Steven Crowder ordeal. And I said that I felt that Candace Owens could be on her way down, or red pill black, whatever you want to call her. I'm starting to call her that now. I don't really and truly know. For all I know, Candace could, in fact, take this individual to task. But then again, though, I have to see it to believe it. So I'm going to kind of reserve judgment on that there. Now, with that right there being said, let's go ahead and get to the tweets, and let's go ahead and get to the apology. The other night, Tim did kind of apologize over this. Of course, he put these tweets up here saying, yeah, this entire thing is getting serious. But obviously, he put these tweets up after apologizing to Jeremy, and apparently he put these tweets up after trying to troll his audience again. Guys, I understand the MO of Tim Pool. I've been watching Tim Pool for a long time, so I understand if let's just put it this way here. I know when he's trolling, and I know when he's not. Him reporting on ETOT drama the day after this entire ordeal occurred, that right there is him trolling. By the way, I initially wanted to react to his meltdown, chewing everybody out, saying that we were all the equivalent of TYT and Sam Cedar. I wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to react to that, but of course, if I did that, the video would be right around 2 hours long, and unless I'm writing a movie essay or something like that, I don't want to have my videos be that long. At best, I try to have my videos be no more than 45 minutes at tops, unless I'm doing a documentary or something. But the thing is this right here. You did all that, then you sent out these tweets saying that the whole Daily Wire thing, of course, was basically fake, and the whole Daily Wire Steven Crowder thing was just a great big giant work. And then you said it was a shit post. Okay, Tim, I knew that was a shit post. However, there are a lot of people in your comment section that don't think it is. Now, this right here is not really that big of a deal when you think about it. However, it kind of is to a certain degree, because it kind of tells you what the hell is going on in his head. Let me explain. He would not have came out and said it was a great big giant shit post unless people in the comment section did not give him some type of hell for it. Okay, somebody as big of a platform as Tim Pool, who's got like hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitter, and he's got like 1 million some odd subscribers, you would think that he would not get upset over one or two people making a comment in the comment section, or maybe saying something to him on Twitter. As a matter of fact, he released one tweet today, and I just said for shits and giggles, just decided to figure just go ahead and reply to it right away. Insignificant tweet, nothing mean, nothing nasty. Just being a little bit cheeky, I guess you could say. That's what the Brits would say. But the thing is this right here. It would not be that big of a deal unless there were more than, say, a few people tweeting. It would not be that big of a deal. He would not even respond to it or even say, hey, look, it was a troll, unless, of course, maybe it was a whole swath of people coming in there. Now, of course, he's bragging about the fact that the subscriptions that he's losing are being replaced by new subscriptions. The fact of the matter is, dude, you've been losing subscribers, and I don't think you're gaining anywhere the amount of subscribers that you claim you're getting. So you got to kind of wonder, the apology that he gave, is it something that, quite frankly, is something that he can recover from, or is it just too little too late, or is it something that, how do I put this? Is it something that some people will eventually forgive him for in the future? Now, gang, before we go any further, as I mentioned before, this person has basically had the keys to the castle. This person right here has been going out of her way to destroy other people's livelihoods. The reason why we bring this up is obviously because, dude, we have a First Amendment right to freedom of speech. Okay, I understand that there are rules and there are guidelines. However, when you are scamming people and you're grifting off them, and then the other person that we're talking about, you lets that person use their platform to grift even further, this right here becomes a bit of an issue. And if you're supposed to be all pro-free speech and you're supposed to be all anti-establishment, when in reality you're just a milquetoast fence sitter, which is what I've been saying about it, this right here becomes a problem. You need to kind of understand why it is you have certain people that just might not forgive you. Now, with that right there being said, let's go ahead and hop back here and let's go ahead and look at the apology. We're going to react to it. We're going to try to make it about no more than 10 to 12 minutes. Make sure you guys listen all the way through. I'll try to provide the best commentary I can give, the best type of response I can give. So let's go ahead and get to it. Any sudden jump cuts, it's because an ad popped in. So just bear in mind, if you hear any creaky noise, it's my chair, okay? I'm also still living in the apartment that still has another apartment on top of it. So make sure you guys just kind of bear with me on this.
We're going to dive headfirst into the shallow end with this next story about Eliza Blue, Chrissy Mayer, and all the stuff that's been going on over the past week. And we'll be as candid as possible. I'm sure we'll piss some people off. But we have this tweet from Chrissy Mayer. For those that aren't familiar, Chrissy Mayer is a comedian, and she hosts a podcast called Simpcast. And she's been on the show, I think a couple times, right? It's been a couple times. We've had her on the show before. And so there's been some controversy related to a guest we had recently, Eliza Blue, and some censorship actions that she's been accused of, notably filing privacy requests against people who talk about her past work. And so here we have the story from Chrissy Mayer. She says, Eliza Blue got 4 of my YouTube videos removed for showing a fair and balanced doc trailer, which featured 3 to 5 seconds of her public, at the time now removed, World Star Hip Hop video. Must be nice to have the power to rewrite history, then gaslight Twitter and YouTube into accepting it. Now, I'll say this outright. I said previously I'm uninterested in this. And I'll kind of, I think this got to the point where literally right before the show, I saw this tweet and I'm like, okay, guys, you got me. All right. Like, I'm starting to see and learn more. That's having me question what's going on if YouTube videos are getting pulled. And we're hearing that a bunch of people actually had YouTube videos getting pulled. And so this clearly is an abuse of the system to a degree that we've not seen for a while now.
This is all we wanted you to say. This is all we wanted you to report on. This is all we wanted you to do was mention that this chick that you had on your show was abusing the system. That right there is what we wanted you to report on. Look, Tim, we understand that there are other issues going on in the world, but still at the same time, though, with the amount of censorship that we are already experiencing, the fact that the First Amendment is under, and by the way, it's not just freedom of speech, it's also freedom of press. Right now, we're dealing with boatloads of propaganda, and even though you may have thought that this right here may not have been worth anything, even though you sent Shane Cashman out there you sent one of your own people out there to cover this. Obviously, it was important to you to a certain degree. This right here, to me, tells me that you straight up dropped the ball on this. You should have been, look, as I said, and I think it was the previous video I did, or maybe it was the one before that, I said, look, if you didn't want to cover it, you should have just went ahead and said, look, I'm going to wait till we get all the facts before I even mention this, because obviously this person was on my show and I want to know better what to do for my business going forward. But you chose not to do that. You chose to tell everybody that they were a bunch of bots. And by the way, you're going to hear that word a lot here in the next few minutes. You chose to tell everybody, so you chose to say to everybody, look, you're all just TYT, you're all just Sam Cedar. I mean, you're basically making this person famous when in reality, this individual is losing thousands of followers, tens of thousands, maybe 100,000 followers, and also playing the victim at this moment in time, when all you had to do was just either say that, look, you're not going to cover this, or B, you could have said, look, I will cover this, but I'll do it when we get this right here, when we get more information. Or you could have said, look, this is just not a good look for Twitter, and this is obviously wrong. This chick right now is finding a way to ruin people's lives at this moment in time. Other smaller content creators, like Christy Moore's got a bigger channel than me, but still at the same time, though, this person is abusing the system at this moment in time for her own personal gain, so that way she does not want certain things to come out, which, by the way, are getting exposed, that are now in the public forum. Fact of the matter is, this person is also a grifter, and she is making money off the backs of actual human trafficking survivors, people who've actually gone through the trauma, where this chick right here, it looks to me, looks like she's never even been trafficked at all.
In the early days of YouTube, there were attempts by political rivals to falsely flag and get people's content removed. And now it seems like we're seeing an uptick in this, particularly pertaining to Eliza Blue. The first thing I'll say is, as it pertains to the issues related to me personally, look, man, I say it a million times. I'm an arrogant shithead. And so don't come at me and yell at and scream in my face and think I'm going to bend the knee and do anything for you. And I will tell everybody right off the bat, we had this person on the show that I don't care too much about. I don't follow her career. I don't know much about her, and I don't handle.
But yet you're writing a puff piece about her. But yet you're sending somebody out to do a 6-part puff piece on her and spreading it out so that way you can get algorithmic gain. Okay? There's a lot here that just doesn't make any sense and makes people think automatically that this apology is a little bit disingenuous, dude.
We've had her on the show 2 times. But all of a sudden, we found ourselves inundated with, and I'm not saying, you guys got to be very careful, because when I said that there was a PR firm running like 50 accounts, everyone started claiming I called literally the millions of people who are watching these videos bots. I never said that. Yeah. But we got some very gruesome, gruesome is maybe not the right word, but let's just say, people crossed the line with what they were sending to us and the images they were posting of people. Mm-hmm. Easiest way to get me to be like, I will not give you what you want. But here's...
Dude, it's called the internet, okay? You're going to get negative comments, okay? We get this all the time. It is called the internet. It is what is going to happen when you're online. You will get negative comments. You will get negative emails. You will get death threats. You will get that stuff. It's called the internet. I thought you had a tougher exterior, which, by the way, you probably should have a tougher exterior, seeing how you've been in this for so long. But either A, you don't have a tough exterior, or B, you are flat out lying to us.
Here's what I have to say about this. There are a lot of people who are genuinely concerned about what we're seeing in terms of what Eliza Blue's done and her past work. And there's a big difference between those people and the very few people I am directly criticizing. The people who are posting just really awful photos and videos, sending awful things to us. And I want to make sure that people understand, because there's still this here's what I said earlier. Following the Project Veritas stuff, following, obviously the Crowder Daily Wire stuff, following these Republicans getting shot, I'm reading this. I have a source contact me. They say, we want you to read this letter, check this out. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to publish this. And I'm reading this and I'm like, if all of this bad stuff is happening right now to various organizations and everyone's fighting with each other, that's it. Like, infiltrate, destroy, right? You make divide and conquer. Yeah, I'm not going to be all about that, right? So I said outright to Jeremy Hambley of the Quartering, look, I apologize. I don't want to be fighting with you. We agree on way too much for me to be bickering or complaining about something that is like one issue where, ultimately probably agree mostly on it, but there's like a personal issue that's making, me upset or something like that. When I'm looking at, we have another story we'll talk about in a minute, a woman saying that she used to work in gender affirmation for children, and now she's realizing how bad it is.
Look, we know that this gender affirmation stuff, we know that this whole gender stuff is pretty freaking bad. We all know this, okay? But this prayer, for the most part, sounds a lot like deflection, okay? I'm just kind of throwing that out there. It seems to me like he's trying to divert himself from the issue, and I would understand being under some form of duress, but the fact of the matter is, dude, is that this entire thing is worse because you did not say anything. This entire thing is about censorship. Speaking of the stuff that you're about to mention, that keyword censorship, freedom of the press, okay? Right now we're being inundated with so much propaganda and we're seeing somebody basically gain the system. Who's to say somebody else may not also get upset over something that quite frankly is completely legal? Like I said, if this chick right here did this stuff in her past, it would not have been that big of a deal. Well, it would be a big deal to a lot. I mean, obviously, I would definitely think she was a hypocrite for doing this, grifting off the backs of those who actually went through some form of trauma due to sex trafficking. But at the same time, though, what's really a big deal is the fact that she is ruining other people's lives because she's a little bit upset and now she's playing the victim. And this whole thing possibly could have been averted, or at least the blow from it all could have been at least a little bit, how do I say, it might not have been as bad. Maybe it would not have happened the way it's happening now if you had said something and maybe called it out.
I'm like, there's a lot more things that we all agree on that we need to be focused on. My biggest concern with all of this is, obviously censorship is bad, but if I'm going to get distracted and personally aggrieved or whatever, and that means infighting will erupt that takes us off mission, we're being played. We're being played. And so I'll say this to you right now. When I came out with my video earlier and said exactly that, like, Jeremy, I shouldn't be fighting with you. I shouldn't be, that's not what we should be doing. That's not what I should be doing. So I apologize. Jeremy put out a video saying he apologizes. I have tremendous respect for that, and I sincerely apologize. There are still people trying to drum up this infighting, and that is exactly what I'm talking about. When all this starts, and I'm this guy who's sitting here like, look, man, I don't know anything about her. We booked her on the show because she's on Twitter and she's a prominent activist. I didn't know that people had beef with her, and I don't know what that beef is. We get people sending us, let me just say, like, photos and videos that I just think would make a dad, like if a dad found out people were doing about his daughter, he'd end up in jail, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So you want to come at me and my friends with these really horrifying things, and I'm going to be like outright not getting anywhere near this. But I genuinely and legitimately understand that's not most people. So I hope all of you understand that there are people still right now trying to get us to keep fighting. I'm not going to do it. I will outright say, especially upon seeing Chrissy Mayer get her videos taken down.
Bruh, there were a lot of people in the chat not spamming the chat. The chat that night was full of comments saying you need to cover this and at least come on out and you need to at least say something. Like I said, we know there are other issues going on in the world. Okay, now as far as people maybe trying to get others to fight one another or something, I don't know about that. But when the chat is basically 90% saying you need to cover this or we're unsubscribing or this and that because they see what the hell is going on, that doesn't sound to me like it's people trying to divide anybody. It sounds to me like you have a whole angry mob that's pissed off with you, which, by the way, a lot of these people, of course, have a crossover with other audiences. All we wanted you to do was at least mention it and call it out.
I'm absolutely wrong about that. I was personally slighted, and that put blinders on me. I don't want to fight with anybody. I will keep being an arrogant shithead, and I will say that. But I also recognize we shouldn't be fighting if we can avoid it, and we can focus on things that are more important. So the only thing I can say, just one last thought, is please keep an eye out for those who are still in the chat right now, desperately trying to get me to get angry and to fight with you guys when.
Right. The people that would have tried to get you angry had already gotten you angry. Okay, a lot of this right here is trying to reestablish some credibility after you've lost some credibility. I mean, it's almost like you're trying to apologize for something that's, let's just say, it's almost like to some people, it's like to the point of no return. And then when you actually look at the puff piece that's came out from Shane Cashman, which I've read some of it, which, by the way, like I said before, is being fleshed out over 6 separate segments, obviously for algorithmic purposes, because Tim is an algorithmic hoe, you would probably understand that a lot of people feel like they may have been had here.
Saying, no, wait, man, like, we need to come together on this.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is people, like they say in soccer, if you're a defender, keep your eye on the ball. And I think so many people got their eye off the ball in this story. And I'm like you pointed out with the censorship, I don't know if you pointed out the legal action she threatened supposedly online. I think those are things that are worthy of derision and worthy of looking into and see what is going on here. Why is this happening? Maybe there's more to the story. But this thing got taken so out of control and to such a level to things that had nothing to do with it. Her past, which don't get me wrong, like sure that like maybe like discredited her or something, but that I don't personally myself, I couldn't care if she made up all of that. That's not
Really quick, man. There is something that a lot of these people don't know. And of course, I'm going to say this now. I didn't say this in the previous few videos. The reason why I told you guys to check out that one from the podcast, The Lotus Eaters, Blue's stepfather is actually a politician out of Illinois. All right. You might want to go take a look at that. Because like I said, this entire thing could be a lot bigger than you might be a lot bigger than you think. It's another reason why we wanted him to cover this. Because you're supposed to be a journalist, you're supposed to be an investigative journalist, so you might need to actually do this. Yes, I understand there are other things going on in the world, but obviously censorship, if you don't control the censorship or stop the censorship, you're not going to be able to get the information out or the other information out. If they can get away with this, what the hell else can they get away with? Fact of the matter is, Tim, you dropped the ball on this one.
pertinent information to me. What is pertinent to me is, did she threaten legal action against people, and is she getting accounts taken down? I don't know. I'm open to it. Seems that way.
Yes, she threatened legal action, and she is getting people's channels removed. She's basically threatening people's livelihood because she's got the keys to the castle. She's practically another Amber Heard, which is funny because Elon Musk at one time was involved with Amber Heard.
To imply, I read Shane's latest article. It seems there's something building there, maybe some sort of argument. I don't know. I'm still open to. And the people criticizing Timcast for not jumping in already, they literally had a guy, and it was clearly not a fleshed out story. So why would you comment on something?
Well, the story, as I said before, is being broken up into 6 parts. Obviously, he's doing this to gain money off of it. If you really wanted to make things better, than what you would have done was that you would have done the first 3 parts in one half and the next 3 parts in the second half. Obviously, this is being done for algorithmic purposes. Obviously, this is being done for membership purposes. Now, guys, in his initial rebuttal, Tim kept on saying, I may have mentioned it in the first portion of the video, he's talking about, I don't want your money, but then he's talking about, I want a coffee shop. I want your membership so that way I can create a coffee shop. Okay, a lot of very, very contradictory takes here.
Before it's a fleshed out story.
But here's what I think too, and I can't speak for Shane, right? I will tell you guys with 100% sincere honesty. I told Shane I didn't think the story was worth it. I don't know anything about it, and I said to him, if you do this, you need to sit down with Jeremy Hambley, and we need to do like 2 different profiles of like what is the big picture here.
Really quick, in that initial rebuttal that he gave, the one he gave the other day, he claimed that Jeremy was threatening him, and then he pulled up the text messages, and of course it said, please tell me he's taking her to task. That doesn't sound like a threat. That sounds like somebody is asking you to do something. All right, that's not a threat. I mean, a lot of deflecting going on here.
Here's the problem, and we got baited because the things that were sent to Shane, I guarantee you, like. And again, I can't speak for him. It's not like he said this to me, but I do know that people posted very inappropriate things about his family. You do that, you guarantee that's bait. They were trying to get us to fight. And so I've now had people saying like, bro, it's an op. Like they're trying to make you fight each other. What I was saying is it's a PR firm that I think was trying to promote Eliza because it worked in making her famous. Having John Rich come on here and be like, who is this Eliza I'm hearing about now? And I'm like, man, that's so convenient for her. Yeah, and I'm specifically referring to obviously not like a YouTube channel where they're talking about it. I'm referring to the people even still right now in the chat who are desperately trying to make us fight. Mm-hmm. And they're the same accounts that spam the same things over and over and over again, clearly inorganic, desperately trying to make conflict happen.
Sometimes even real people get caught in that state of mind because it's like scratching an itch. It feels so good, but if you keep scratching, you're going to rip the skin off and make it bleed. Like we're in the it feels really good state right now. Don't keep scratching. Brittany Venti got videos taken down of her today. I made a YouTube video for the first time in about a month and a half today about this on my YouTube channel, Ian Crossland. Please check it out after the show. And
actually, I would like to, and before we go to the last segment of the video, before we close out the video with the last segment, this is where we're going to cut things off, but I want to say this really quick. Ian basically did make a video talking about the situation with Brittany Venti, calling it out. However, there's a problem with this. And you will see this in the Noxious Draven video that I post. There's a lot of text messages that were posted, a lot of tweets that were posted of Ian Crossland with Purple Hair Girl Okay, Adam Krigler there too, and they're just kind of partying or whatnot. Not that big of a deal, but a lot of people kind of were taken aback by her body language with him. She basically gave him a foot job, basically is what she did to Ian. Now, me personally, I think the only reason why Ian made that video was probably to try to go ahead and soften the blow that's coming, because it was another girl who shared that. And like I said, you'll see it in the Noxious Draven video. But here's what he didn't cover. And of course, I'm not sharing those tweets right now because of possibility of, God knows what may happen. But the thing about it is this here. Ian and Adam both were commenting back to the girl. The girl who posted it only had like 317 followers, and they were commenting back to her. Now, here's the thing. If you're having a party with a girl and you're screwing around or whatever, look, man, it's consenting adults. I'm not going to say anything. And I even tweeted on that account saying, look, I don't think this is like not a nothing burger, but then again, at the same time, I see adults here. But then again, it also kind of furthers the whole notion that she's not what she makes herself out to be. And the reason why I had said that, but then not realizing was what was going on, was that you got Adam Krigler and Ian Crossland both commenting back to this account. Is it possible that maybe Tim and Cassandra and them said, dude, you may want to get out here and you may want to try to fix this before this entire thing blows up? Like I said, guys, the Noxious Draven video, unless he somehow or other takes it down, that video will be in the description box of this video. With that right there being said, guys, we're going to close this segment down. This video is already getting long enough, and we're going to... So with all that said and done, here's the way I think about it. Okay. I obviously understand the guy. I understand his MO. I understand when he's shit posting. I understand when he's trolling. But the fact of the matter is that there are people out there who feel a little bit more jilted than they need to be, than they probably need to be. I still think if you had addressed this issue from the very start, we wouldn't be in this situation. Or even if you chose to be quiet about it and give us at least something saying, look, dude, look, man, this is a bad look for Twitter. It's a very, very bad look for her. Maybe someday I may give this person a chance to kind of explain this. But then again, at the same time, though, the same individual has obviously gamed the system. She's obviously screwed a bunch of people. She's obviously ruined some lives. Maybe if you'd have done that there, or if you just said, look, I want to wait till after the piece comes out from Shane Cashman, if you'd have done that there, or maybe if you had said, look, I don't want to take you guys' money at this moment in time over this entire ordeal, which, by the way, he says he does not need your money, but yet he then turns right back around and takes your money. I thought it was kind of funny how he kept on saying, I don't need your money, I don't need your money, during his whole rebuttal speech where he basically chewed everybody out, basically Jeremy and everyone else. And by the way, Jeremy is very, 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 very cringe. But I kind of thought it funny that he was saying, I don't need your money, but then he turned right back around and he said, but I want to build a coffee shop. This guy right here is completely full of crap. Like I said, I originally wanted to reply to that one there to show you exactly how full of crap he was, because you catch the contradictions. Then again, though, Tim is kind of sort of a master of contradictions. I mean, I recall during the whole Brett Kavanaugh thing when the Antifa rioters or whatnot went to his home, the Roe v. Wade protesters went to his home. Tim had been saying, abolish the police, and then he was screaming, arrest him, arrest him, arrest him. The guy is full of contradictions, and I think he may have contradicted himself into, let's just say, a good portion of his fan base basically saying, screw you, we're out, we're done, because in a lot of ways, he kind of exposed himself for being the types that, let's just say, as I mentioned in the previous video, you'll probably see him at some point in time try to go somewhere else, like back to another news organization, hoping that he can get on somewhere and collect a few $1 million a year until this entire thing blows over. And maybe he thinks that people will eventually forget about it. But, dude, some people have got longer memories than others. Now, guys, when I said the other day that you're not too big to fail, I didn't just mean that you're not too big to fail because you have a certain amount of subscribers and your business model can't fail. What I mean is that you yourself as a person can always fail. You can always fall apart. You can always fall short. And quite frankly, you can always piss off the wrong crowd and never be forgiven for it. Now, guys, with that right there being said, before I get to this very, very last cut, I want to just go ahead and tell you right now that I do not want to cover this story anymore. I know that the last video I said that I wasn't going to do it anymore, but I felt like I needed to come out here and give you guys I need to kind of give my audience, give everybody one more take on this, because obviously with this chick now playing the victim everywhere we turn around with everything that's coming out, obviously a lot of people's credibilities are in fact smashed, and it's very, very possible this entire ordeal could go on a lot longer than it probably should have been. But then again, though, PHG kind of did this crap to herself. Now, guys, I just want to address one little thing before I get done. a lot of these channels, their livelihoods, of course, are wrapped up in this. Like, they're doing this full time, and obviously they're doing this because they care about it. They care about the topic. They're doing politics or whatnot. This channel right here was originally a sports channel, and it turned political because of what was going on in 2020. And of course, it was very difficult to not mention what was going on. This channel is not going to change or anything. Okay, I did like 2 separate projects like the past couple of weeks. Of course, I'll leave them. I'll try to leave them in the. If you guys go on my page, you'll see them. They're about an hour long a piece. One of them, of course, is about the issue that's going on in schools, and of course, the other one is about the WRT versus. Let's just call it. Just put it this way here. If I mention it in this video right here, I'm going to get one of those labels saying there could be misinformation here, which, by the way, they labeled on that video there because it's such a hot topic. The thing you have to understand is that right now at this moment in time, I'm trying to transition over to projects. So I really truly don't want to touch this story again. Of course, if there's something breaking, I'll bring it up. But to everyone who has subscribed to this channel recently, I just want you guys just kind of like know what you're getting into, because there is a bit of a shift going on in the channel's content. Now, the last thing, going back to what I was saying about people who's got their livelihoods wrapped up in their YouTube channel, I actually don't. I do this because I actually like to do it. My channel is not monetized right now. I'm sure that it will get monetized. Obviously, I do want it monetized. Obviously, I would like to get paid for what I'm doing. But to me, money is not the most important thing, because I've obviously got a line of income coming in somewhere else, and I can always go back to work and do odd jobs to get that extra bit of change. There's a reason why I don't set up a subscribe store. There's a reason why I don't set up a a Patreon. I don't do none of that crap because I don't think that I need it. And as I've told you guys before, Super chats, I understand why people do it. I understand it's a donation, but at the same time, though, I just don't think you should have to pay money just to type in a comment. If you guys want to leave a comment, leave a friend comment. I'm never going to charge you money for it. With that there being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close this video down, and hopefully we ain't got to report on the story again. Of course, I'm pretty sure something else would come up probably the next week. But of course, if something does, I'd like to do it in much, much longer form, so that way the week's activities are covered in one actual video. With that right there being said, guys, John Claymore here. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.